Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss the novel How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Cherie Jones. Now this was a book that came to me because, as you can see, it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize in 2021, and I tend to really enjoy reading the long lists and short lists of these prizes because although the winners can be a little controversial, they do platform a great range of writers and genres, and I usually enjoy finding writers, types of stories I wouldn't necessarily read. And this definitely falls into this category. And beyond that, this is a really good book, and I can see how it was shortlisted. I hadn't heard of Cherie Jones before, but I'm really glad that I found her now. So, How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House. This book is set over the course of a matter of weeks in August 1984 in Barbados. It's set around a burglary gone wrong, where a couple of poor, violent black men try and rob a very wealthy tourist who happens to have been living in one of the huge, expensive villas on the beach, and the whole thing goes wrong and someone dies. This explores the fallout from that burglary. But more than that, Cherie not only pivots the attention, but also explores the impact of generational trauma. Brilliant. So, the subject, the focus of this book, isn't about the two men who commit the burglary or about the victim. Rather, the focus is Lala, the girlfriend of the man who leads the burglary. It is from her perspective that this story is largely told. There's a couple of revolving perspectives, but it is her story. And indeed, that is one of the great things about this book. Because Lala also is the supposed one-armed sister who sweeps her house. The phrase comes from a story her grandma tells her when she is young. She is raised by her grandma because her mother, for reasons that will become apparent when you read the book, has disappeared. It is a warning, a moral about what happens to girls who play with bad boys. If you're bitten by the devil and you lose your arm, how can you keep your house clean? How can you keep yourself on side? Lala is addicted to these bad boys, and these are the repercussions for her life. And this is how she defiantly tries to correct her situation. Lala is also pregnant at the time of the burglary, and it's all the repercussions that follow for her as her partner gets swallowed up in a huge police investigation, and the fallout as the violence that he exhibits in the burglary is also brought home. There is a lot of violence in this book, physical and emotional. It is about the violence that women experience, but also what I like is also about the violence that some men experience as well, that shapes their identity, that shapes who they become. This follows also a couple of the other women, not just Lala, not just her grandmother, but also the girlfriend of the man who was shot in the burglary. And so it really focuses on the women as victims and survivors, about the decisions they take to try and keep themselves going, to improve their situation in life, and also the repercussions that come with that. One-armed sisters, always dancing with devils, taking risks, always needing to improve their circumstance, and the risks that women have to take in order to survive. This is really adrenaline packed. It follows a really strong narrative drive as Cherie Jones really pushes her characters across these few weeks, from the burglary through the police investigation through to the conclusion of the novel. It brings in this cast of characters from Lala, her grandmother, the police, the Lala's boyfriend's crime partner, the environment that they grow up in Barbados, and this massive difference between the poverty of the local population versus the extreme wealth that comes from the tourism. It's brilliantly captured. It's a really thrilling book. It's got a lot of energy. I was really pleased with it. It's very much someone who likes a lot of adventure in their book, like a lot of action. There's some great action sequences, but it's also infused beautifully by Cherie with some real thoughtful reflections on, like I say, generational trauma, the violence that women experience whichever generation you go through, and how that materializes throughout your life and how it shapes you. I would definitely recommend this. Like I said, wasn't a book I was expecting to love. It came to me because it was shortlisted, but it's got real elegance, real verb, real personality, and real drive. I really enjoyed this. Very much for someone who wants to read something with a lot of energy, and definitely something that you don't usually see in other books in terms of viewpoint, location, and yeah, really interesting perspective. Really loved it. Great writing. How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Cherie Jones.